Good morning. Let's see, today is round 1, P3, day 11. I think yesterday I said it was day 12, and I may have been factoring in some of the 72 hours where you come off of your HCG. So actually today is day 11 for me. I am down 3 pounds. I'm still over my LDW, so I am now, let's see, 4.4 over my LDW. If you haven't watched previous vlogs, I just came back from vacation where I gained at least 7, if not more, pounds while I was in P3 from not eating correctly, eating sugar, carbs, drinking alcohol, probably fruits that I shouldn't have been eating, variety of items that we should all avoid, and I added them in. So I am now trying to get that weight off. And as I stated, I 4.4. And so yesterday, as far as eating goes, I ate P2 style foods. So I'm not a big breakfast eater normally. I got up in the morning and had coffee, which is very typical to have a couple cups of coffee, black. And then on my way out the door to go to work, I had what's also typical for me, about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar dumped into a 12-ounce thermos of hot water. And I drink that on the way to work like it's a tea. And then when I got to work, I found myself struggling to get my water in, which isn't typical at all. I usually have 40 ounces of water before noon, and I just could not get that water in. For some reason, I felt full and bloated, and so I still did get it in. I don't think I got that 40 ounces in until about 2 o'clock. I had an apple at about 11, which is about the time that I got hungry, and I had a Baby Bell cheese. And then coming out of work, let's see, I had back-to-back doctor's appointments with my girls, so the second I got home, I knew it was going to be a while before I got back, and I needed something quick, so I pulled out of my freezer it's already pre-made. It's 2 cups of homemade chicken stock, and there's already 4 ounces of measured chicken in that, and I defrosted that in the microwave and added some Japanese spices that are P2 approved to that, and ate that before I left, and then kept trying to push my water. When I got back from the doctor's a couple hours later, I immediately had some mac nuts, probably about 8 mac nuts, macadamia, and then a chocolate delight, and then tried to stay out of the kitchen until dinner time because I could feel myself wanting to eat, but I wasn't really hungry. So for dinner, that's where, sometimes when we wait too long to eat, then we get that insatiable desire to just stuff our face, and I felt myself, on the brink of, oh my gosh, I need to eat right now, which wasn't really the case, but I started eating cheese because we were making hamburgers, so I had a piece of Swiss that was already sliced, and then when I was prepping the hamburgers, I also had then 2 pieces of sliced pepper jack, so I didn't have cheese on my burger because I had already eaten enough cheese. I had a pretty good size healthy burger, probably double the normal 3.5, 4 ounces. It was probably more like an 8-ounce burger with P2 approved spices. And I had that between 2 pieces of lettuce with sliced onion, a very large slice of tomato, and I had probably about a tablespoon of sugar-free ketchup and about a tablespoon of mayonnaise and big squirt of yellow mustard. I found that after I had finished that, I was too full, and I probably should have either cut it in half and just had that and been done with it, or maybe I should have not had so much cheese before I actually had that burger. I didn't get my normal amount of water in yesterday, and wanted to talk about bloat. Those days where you wake up and you feel thin, you feel slim. When you pull your stomach in, it feels like it's flat, and there's no pooch there. I mean, you're still carrying your weight, but there's something about that empty, thin feeling. Since I veered off protocol this past week with the alcohol, sugar, carb I felt bloated. My rings are definitely secure on my fingers. And I really don't have that thin, skinny feeling that I was having before I left to go on vacation. So I'm trying to get back to that, and so that whole water theory yesterday I found interesting, because as bloated as I felt, I also felt like I didn't need to drink as much water. And water was most definitely probably what I needed to drink. I needed to flush out the salt and carbs and all of that. So today I'm going to try and push again. I don't know that I'm going to drop weight as quickly tomorrow morning. You know, a 3-pound loss is a lot of that, I'm sure, is water weight. But I am aiming to get off the weight that I put on and get back down to my LDW, which is 140. Also want to talk about hair loss. I have very, very long hair, extremely thick, and normally lose a lot of hair. For most people, the amount of hair that I lose on a day-to-day basis is kind of scary. You would think that I was already sick. My hairdresser laughs when she sees the amount of hair that comes off of my head after she does it, and the hair loss has just increased this past week. It's a huge amount, handful of hair. When I got out of the shower this morning, I've heard people talk about hair loss, and I always kind of chuckle because I always lose a lot anyway. Well, it definitely has increased. I did not notice hair loss in P2. I may have said that earlier. I'm in P3. I did not start noticing the hair loss until this P3. And I'm not really taking anything for it. I may look into the biotin or the hair, the nail, skin, hair supplement or whatever, and a couple different things. I guess I was reading an article about it that talked about if you take too much of this particular supplement, it makes you break out. And at that point, I just pretty much wasn't interested in the cycle of having issues with my skin. My skin is very balanced. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever. So, but the hair loss is fairly extreme, and I stand to lose the hair. I have no issue with that. But someone that doesn't have as much hair as I do in a P3 situation, losing this much hair would be very scary. So I wanted to mention that. So I'm going to continue today to eat like I ate yesterday, and have a very late day with double soccer practices back to back, so I won't be getting home till late. So on my way downstairs before I go to work, to make sure I pack enough food to have on hand if I get hungry later this evening. And looking forward to coming back on tomorrow and letting you know that my weight is down again. So, all right, happy stabilization for those of you that are aiming for that, and happy releases if you're in P2.